Hey everybody, welcome to the Trendy Devstream. How's everyone doing today? I'm your host, Lalta. Here with me is...
Mark, and I'm a designer on the game.
Mark has been putting a lot of work into our upcoming update. A lot of focus on a lot of new users. We're going to be talking about new users today, some equipment changes, and then also some shard changes that are going to change quite a bit of the game. So we'll go ahead and get started with some of our new user experience stuff. We have to have music here.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. So we don't have transition music yet, so we have to improvise right now. Afshin hasn't got us any yet, so this is the intro. This is what new players will see as they come into the game. So Mark, what were kind of some of the issues that players were running into when they first started?
Well, first off, I don't know how many of you guys have played the tutorial recently, but if you go back and kind of play it right now, it really kind of starts off slow. You're in a practice area. You're told it's not the real thing. Not a whole lot's going on. One of the things that we wanted to do to really excite players and show, why Dungeon Defenders 2 is awesome is throw them right into the action, get them smacking goblins, get them using abilities, get them running around and having a good time. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to focus on, getting people into the game.
So you could kind of see as Eric was running in, he's taking on a war boar right now. We've kind of decided to streamline the instructions a little bit as well. Before they were kind of on the side where you'd have a knight commander telling you what to do, pressing G to start up or E to interact with different objects. So something that looks a little bit better is having it kind of floating in the environment, kind of sticks out and jumps out at you. It's a lot shorter on the commands, so it kind of helps players just, again, what Mark was saying, get into the action and kind of see what's going on. And we also kind of made some changes to how they get gems right there at the beginning as well.
Yeah. So for those of you, this is something that will affect not just new users, but users playing the game, is we've decided to remove the mana chests. We kind of felt it's just kind of an unnecessary step, might bog the experience down. I know even with the amount of hours I've been playing this game, I still forget to do it sometimes. So we've removed the mana chest now. Our little mana node, our friendly little mana node, is going to do a twirl around you, which is the technical jargon we've been using in-house.
Yeah.
Give you green mana, and you can commence building from there.
Yeah. I didn't actually know that was for everything. I thought that was only for NUE. So I learned something today.
There you go.
It's been a big day.
There are big reveals that happen on the dev stream.
And so also you could kind of see there, Betsy kind of flew in and destroyed some of our blockades and towers. So it shows new players where to build things. I know a lot of you guys are super pro veterans, but for people who haven't maybe played the game before, this is what you kind of run into at first. There were some instructions on there that will tell you that, hey, this is gone, you need to rebuild this. We kind of glanced over that a little bit, but one thing that we're kind of showing off a little bit here is that Betsy is going to be making a lot earlier appearance throughout just the game in general, throughout campaign. I'm not going to show everything off with her today, but
let's just say that Betsy kind of makes you have a bad day, but then you flip the tables a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. I've seen it. Okay, yeah, she's not as hard as some players have experienced her throughout campaign, at least where she appears. But yeah, this is just kind of an idea of what new players will be seeing. Might add a couple little things here and there from what we've got in there now. Eric's taking on this warboard. We're on wave 2 of 3 still. Come on, see, look at that. Eric, such a pro. We couldn't have anyone else do this. It can only be Eric.
Absolutely.
I don't even know what we're going to do when we have to have Eric on stream. He's going to have to play with his feet.
Is Eric coming on stream today?
Not today.
Oh, you're depriving the audience of Eric?
I know, dude. I can't do that for much longer. But maybe I won't have to. Maybe.
There you go.
Maybe. So I'm also going to take a look at some questions here real quick as well. I'm not going to be answering them right now, but I got to look at some of these. Nope, didn't do that.
While Lalta looks at the questions, one of the other things that we wanted to do is in the current tutorial we found that we were presenting all this information through the dialogue system and all of that, that it was a lot at once. And because of it, it was really easy to miss. So one of the things that we wanted to do was sort of stagger out the amount of information that you need to know to play Dungeon Defenders 2, which might be daunting to a friend of yours who's never played the game for the first time. And as we introduce the core elements of the quintessential Dungeon Defenders 2 experience, introduce them in a way that it really kind of shows their value. Like in the first wave, you're running around, you're whacking goblins on the head, and you're having to kill them and deal with them as they bear down on the core. In the next wave, you learn how to use towers for the first time, and you realize, oh, awesome! I could use these towers in a tower defense game, and I don't have to do as much work as I just did there for a second, and can be a little bit more stress-free when I'm running around and slaughtering enemies.
Sorry, I'm getting a quick question. This is a good question that was asked. I'm not going to say what it is now.
Don't hurt me.
No, it wasn't a violent question.
All right. So far, so good. But yeah, Eric's running around. He just got the apprentice. We just introduced the concept of hero swapping so that you can move between different heroes, which is my favorite aspect of Dungeon Defenders 2, and I think what makes the game really special. And it looks like we've just made it through our first level.
Now, I can't remember with this specific iteration. Is this the first time when this chest opens that you actually get an item as a new user?
Yes.
Okay.
This is going to be the first item that you get as a new user, and we wanted to make sure it was pretty dope. So what you'll be getting are some not the coolest weapons in Dungeon Defenders 2, but two really cool weapons that makes you say, like, hey, I want to go check out and see what other stuff is going to be dropping as I play.
Yeah, you can't give the good stuff away right away.
And if you look really closely, you might notice something different about what's on the little billboards that come up with weapons.
Oh, we're going to get to that here in a little bit. You're spoiling. You're guiding them too much. That's okay. Oh, there's a "Baby Don't Hurt Me" lyric in chat. That's good. It's relevant. Can appreciate that. Little late 90s throwback. So, go ahead.
So on this level, we kind of wanted to teach players more of the nuances of the game. So they just learned how to attack and put down towers and, what to defend against. At this point, we try to introduce a bit more strategy and say, okay, there are additional things that you want to defend just besides the main core. And you might want to be cagey about the combinations of towers that you're using to do that. So on this level, you'll be learning make sure that you hot swap between heroes to vary up different combinations of builds, defend things other than just the main core, and interact with your towers by upgrading and repairing them to ensure that you can achieve victory.
Did we initially have an air lane in the initial second map for Bazaar? Campaign?
No.
Okay,
the first time air enemies come in is on ramparts.
That's right. I couldn't remember if we took that in or out.
Get with it, Walter.
I'm trying. You know how many times I've played the campaign? Too much. I'm terrible at this game. I've spent so much time just stuck on Bazaar. Actually, on Dragonfall. Okay.
Hopefully the questions aren't too bad.
They're not too bad.
All right, good.
There's some good ones.
Good.
There's some people demanding to know what we did to the weapon system.
Whoa.
Yeah, someone who is fabled actually wants to know. But yeah, Eric's going through, pretty much tearing them all apart. And again, we kept it at 3 waves as well. I think it currently is like that in the campaign. So not too much of that's changed. We also had a lot of people. We had a lot of new users actually testing. It's people who either just hadn't played the game or weren't super exposed to it, just to get a lot of really good feedback. I mean, we had we had locals come in, we had friends and family come in to test the stuff out. So a whole lot of different views for this.
We had students come in. We had people who claimed that they hadn't slept in over 30 hours sit down and play our game to give us feedback.
That's perfect. That's who we're targeting.
Some really brave studio members brought their wives in.
That's very brave.
It was very brave. It was a fun time watching people play the current live game and talk to them to see how we could improve the situation and the experience for them.
Yeah, dude, I love that mana node coming in now. It's like a fairy godmother, just like boop, boop. We might need that.
Just like that.
We might need out a sound effect for that.
We just found it.
There it is. We're gonna download the stream, pull that audio, and it's going in there. It's gonna be both of us saying "boop," overlaid over one another. Death will truly be the greatest. I don't know if that's a Peter Pan quote or not. That's an interesting Peter Pan quote, though.
So right now what we're hoping is if, you've got a friend who sat down and tried to play Dungeon Defenders 2 before, but, was kind of thinking that the first level was a bit low energy, or if you try to sit down and explain it to a friend like I've done with games, and they're like, whoa, I don't want to try and figure this out, and like, forget about it. Now would be a really good time to bring a friend over, have them go through our new user experience, and hopefully have a lot of fun with them too.
Through this, and we have some stuff. We're getting close to the end of this map. Coming up on the next map that we're not going to show off just yet. We thought about it, but getting some of that.
You guys are boring.
Oh my goodness!
Good. Also, hi everyone and viewers and things. Item power will not be showing.
Oh yeah.
On the release of this patch. It's just showing right now as a bug. So don't get excited about it. So maybe we can just move into talking about gear score to explain that little bug.
Yeah,
hooray!
That's the next one.
Cool.
Let's go
Thanks.
next.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Smooches. All right. Well, geez, that's a Landrin coming in and cracking the whip. So I guess we got to move along now. That's right away.
I have full confidence that the next segment of this stream will essentially be its best part.
Okay. All right. So we're going to switch over to equipment now. I can't do that because that might be trademark.
I am...
Oh, no. Oh, no. Eric, what did you do?
Dev hacks.
I am super confused. I don't even know what was just... Yeah, what was
Oh,
that
you're not
just now? What?
Oh, no. Shouldn't be pulling that up. Anyways. All right. So we have with us the one, the only...
Oh my god.
Essentially Jose.
Hey guys.
It says it on the screen.
Does it?
I have to read it as
does
it said.
I was not informed of this.
I know you weren't. This was a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
This is gotcha journalism
I
right here.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. I guess I am.
Yeah. So
Start the calendar.
We'll wait for everything.
Start.
Wait for everything to come up here. So as you can see on the right there, equipment, some people know some stuff. We've changed things around quite a bit. You've got some buttons here that people might not be as familiar with. Got a little bit of a layout change as well. So we kind of talked about this during Alandrian's Thursday check-in, where we were talking about there are going to be some shard changes, and with that, some equipment changes. So one thing we can start getting into is what Alandrian just brought up, which is the fact that it's not going to be eye power.
Yeah.
But we do have a rating called gear score now, and there's 3 different tiers of that. There is your gear score, your champion score.
Yeah.
And what is the third one?
So that
Dex score as well?
it's you say champion score?
I do.
Yeah. So your hero score.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but hold on. I feel like we're skipping steps though.
That's okay.
So the first thing that we need to talk about is like what gear score is.
Right.
So, as many of you guys know, especially if you've been playing the game for a while, we used to call this thing we used to have this thing called eye power, and basically. Okay, never mind. And if you would see eye power, it was not truly a reflection of the strength of that item. So whenever you would see eye power, you may think that, oh yeah, this one has better eye power than the previous one, so therefore it's a better item. But that was not the case in actually a fair amount of circumstances. So you may see an item that you just got and it has better eye power than the one that you were carrying, but somehow the one that you're still using, it's better.
Yeah, so it didn't feel like a really good upgrade.
No, it didn't feel like an upgrade, even though numerically you may see it there. So what we've done with gear score, it is primarily using gear score as a means for you to accurately know where or not an item is better than the other. So an item which its gear score is higher than the other one, it's going to be a much better indication of how much better it is. So you eventually, because there's the issue with eye power where you may have got like a green and then like your orange right now, it's like weaker in terms of the eye power, but still it has better stats.
Correct.
So that may still like, it'll be a thing, but just like substantially down the line. So if you have an orange, like its gear score is going to be the best that you may get until like a really long amount of time, right? Because they're really, really strong and really, really valuable. So for all intents and purposes for you guys, I would say that you should not think about eye power anymore. Like it's really out of your should be out of your minds, because there's no knowledge or there's no gains that you have by thinking about it, or it should be all about gear score. It's all about how you are increasing your power through gear score, and how gear scores are actual reflection of your strength.
With eye power, it was also connected to our smart loot system.
Yeah.
Which that's
so like I said, like a few of the I mean, I don't know if older, but like older members of the community may remember that there's a thing called like muling addressed in the forums.
Yeah.
So this is something that personally I have never felt really good about, because I want people to be focused on having the strongest things that they can, rather than whatever gears may combine to gain the system, right? So we're trying to shy away from all of those things. We want you to be playing the game we don't want you to be like gaining the game. We just want you to be having fun.
Yeah.
So the means by which we're dropping gear in the game doesn't even look at what you have equipped, doesn't even look at what you have in your inventory. It's just plain and simple. You're playing a game mode, and then if you're playing a game mode that is within like your power level, so if you're not trying to like super like just like skip like levels or anything like that, but if you're playing within the difficulties that you should be playing at, gear's gonna be just naturally dropping at a pace that makes sense for you. So you would just naturally be seeing stronger stuff. You will naturally be seeing things that will be an improvement on yours, and then you will be, of course, seeing that through gear score. So I would say just focus on having fun, focus on equipping the best stuff that you can, and then just like take your mind off from how you can gain the system. You will gain the system just by playing the game and having fun. That's where essentially. Oh my god!
I was waiting for it.
Okay, what?
It's okay. We should have an essentially counter on there too.
I'm so conscious about it. I'm so conscious about it now. Like I'm talking normally, and I'll just be like waiting for it.
It's okay.
People do remind me of it.
You do. I will hear you across the studio say essentially a couple times in a sentence, and it's the highlight of my day.
I mean,
you're the apple of my eye, Jose.
It's the down it's a down period of mine, dude. Anyway.
Oh no! Well, so it evens out. It's right in the middle. Middle road.
I don't think that works for me though.
It does. It averages out.
Regardless, what was your question? What was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
Completely threw me off. No,
I threw myself off all the time.
It's okay.
Anyhow, go for it.
No, so kind of talked about gear score in general.
Yes.
Okay, so champion score.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So gear score is going to be the level of the item, right? So individually you will see it in the item itself. In addition to that, there's the hero score, which is basically the aggregate gear score of all of the items in that character. And your champion score is going to be your highest hero score. So that's, for all intents and purposes, your account level or something along those lines.
Right.
And now, in order to progress through trials, we're going to be asking you to meet those requirements of champion score. So you must. That means that in order for you to move through trials, you need to have at least one hero that meets the strength requirements for you to be able to be competitive at it. So.
Stream ruiner Landrian coming over here to fix the mic because tapping on the table is loud. It's super sensitive. Don't do it again.
You have an ending to the song?
The end of the song is that gear score's dope. Better than eye power. And it's essentially the greatest.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Oh, he's so polite.
This has been a eventful stream.
Landry cares so much.
He does. He's actively watching right now.
I was surprised he just wasn't going to be on the stream as much as he's been in the room. But
I feel looked on.
looked on?
Yeah,
All right.
just like eyes on my shoulder. Regardless.
Papa Landrian's always watching.
Yeah, so to progress to trials, now you're gonna be required to make those meet those thresholds of champion score. So use it as a reference point for like, hey, I need to be this strong in order to be competitive at this game mode. And we couldn't do the same with eye power because, like I said, eye power was not an accurate reflection of your character's strength. So be confident that we tell you, hey, you must be at least this champion score to be competitive at this difficulty. We truly mean it. So if you actually meet the gear score requirements, it should be a balanced experience for you to have fun and be challenged as well.
Yeah, and compared to how Trials used to be as well, there's with Onslaught,
Yeah.
there's a ton more gear dropping as well. So you're going to consistently see a lot of upgrades coming your way.
Yeah.
So getting through Trials is going to feel a lot smoother going through. We're also, based on how everyone feels about this system as well, there's a possibility. I see some concern in the chat. There is always the possibility to make some slight changes and whatnot, but from everything we've tested, overall it feels better going through it.
Yeah.
This isn't just a focus just for new users. It's a lot of stuff we've talked about in the past. Just in general, people haven't enjoyed how, not a big thing since I've been with Trendy has been wanting to see what eye power is.
Yeah.
And knowing what that item strength is instead of using any kind of system that might require spreadsheets and cell values.
We don't want you. Yeah. We just want you to have a good time, and then just murking the waters with things that may not lead into the best experience possible is something that we're really concerned and conscious about. So that's the main reason where it took us down to the path where we thought about gear score and how we can streamline the experience for you to be able to know accurately know the strength of an item and be able to use it effectively.
And you talked about how the highest item they've seen drop.
Yes, yes. So I actually didn't know if you were gonna go that specific, but yeah. So like I said before, the items that you're gonna be seeing dropping in a map, we are not even looking at the stuff that you have equipped. We're not even looking at the stuff that's in your inventory. We're only looking at the things that you have seen in the game. So the more you play the game, you will see stronger stuff, and therefore the stuff that you will see next is going to be stronger than the stuff that you've seen before. So if you're even concerned like, oh, do I need to pick this item just because it may increase my chance of getting something better down the line? Don't even worry about it. If you see something in the ground that you're like, this is just going to be an annoyance for me to carry with me in my inventory, it's just going to be trash sitting there. I mean, if it's like a tier 1 armor, I understand. Like you can even just leave it there. It doesn't matter. So take away from this. Just play the game and have fun. Equip dope stuff.
Yeah. So basically, what's going to happen is the items that you see will not be based on anything with equipment. You won't have to handle anything with mules anymore.
No, none of that. Just play the game, have fun. Equip the strongest stuff you can. Equip whatever you want. If you like, that's the main takeaway from this is like if you see even if you see something that's of like greater gear score than what you have equipped, and then you're like, oh, but it doesn't have the passives that it doesn't have the secondary stats that I want, or it doesn't have this and that the current item that I have does. Even if you're equipping something weaker, but it's just like better for you for your build or something like that, we're not penalizing you in any shape or form if you do that.
And so, with all of these things, you're going through, you're picking up gear, you're seeing progressively better gear as well.
Yeah.
We've also added a little bit of streamlining to that as well. Whenever you get that gear, if you don't want to go through and equip the gear itself, having to go through each piece.
So this has been like something that's we've been wanting to do for a while, and personally, I've been wanting to see it for a while, and like in DD2, the main aspect of it is you have like 4 million characters, and all of them perform differently, and all of them have like different armor and weapons and shards and so on. So it's always been a substantial people have spent a substantial amount of time managing their inventory, right? So, you need to like unequip this guy, so I can equip the other guy, so I can put the shirts in and out. It's just like it's just a fairly lengthy process. So we're taking a number of steps to streamline that to streamline that substantially. So I guess, so if you look at the inventory right now, it's going to be evident a bunch of the changes that we've done. Main thing right now is I want to drive your attention to the 2 buttons that we have there, which is the auto-equip, what does it say, gear? I can barely read it. Auto-equip gear and auto-equip relics. So what those will do is very simple. It's just super optimized and just evident what it does. So you click it, and then it will find the highest gear score items in your inventory, and it will put them in the slots that you want. And it's very important that we're doing gear and relics separately, because some players may want to do one hero for only fighting and melee combat, and the other hero may just only be used for building. So that way you can just optimize your gear to your playstyle. So if you want, you can just do both, right? If you're sort of playing with a character and do both. But this also allows you to just exclusively use one character for one and the other. And of course, if it's relics, it's not going to shove a totem into a DPS tower, right? So if it will make sense, right? So if it's a spiky blockade, it will prioritize totems above everything else, and on the other way around, if it's a DPS tower, it's going to prioritize medallions and marks.
Yeah. So the way it actually, I believe it goes is, like you said, with walls, blockades, it's going to go totem first,
yeah,
and it'll focus on obviously your highest.
Yeah, it'll find the highest gear score totem, and it'll put it into the blockade.
And then with basically anything that's not listed as what would be a wall or blockade,
yeah,
will focus. Is it on medallion first?
It's a medallion first on Denmark, but I mean, if it finds a mark that has higher gear score, it'll put it on. So for the most part, I mean, in practicality, it's just whatever's the highest gear score.
Yeah, it'll go highest gear score, and then it'll choose between medallion and then mark, and then even if there's neither of those two, it will pick a totem to put in there.
It will. Yeah, if you literally have nothing, if you have DPS tower, you have nothing but totems in your inventory, you'll put something there just so you have something. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that you can do that manually slot to slot.
Yeah.
So let's say that you were playing with the Squire, and then you only want to build spiky blockades, and then you don't want to optimize the whole thing, you just want to optimize spiky blockades. You can just go straight to the spiky blockade, and then there'll be a contextual action that'll indicate you, hey, this is how you just optimize that one. So you don't have to do it the whole thing if you want.
Yeah, you can go through and do it one by one.
Yeah.
So you don't have a whole lot of gear here to show it off.
No, it don't. But
it's a real just from testing it, it's a really smooth system.
Yeah.
As you go, especially trying out the new user experience, it's been something that's just been a lot of fun to throw in. So for people that are gaining ancient power and are wanting to just get through things really quickly, your items get reset. You start seeing drops that come down that are just instantly better.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and just throw that gear on right away.
The main thing, it's just like you play through Onslaught, and you're playing like floor after floor, map after map, and you're getting so much stuff so often, and you need to equip it, I mean, pretty much all the time, because you need to like keep getting your strength up to the challenges that we're throwing at you. Mm-hmm. So this will allow you to streamline that process substantially. So you finish a map in Onslaught, you see all the new stuff that you have, and you just like click up, equip whatever has the highest gear score, and then we're taking you off from the inventory so you can focus on doing the things that are fun, which is placing down defenses and just like beating dudes in the face.
Or dudettes.
Or what?
Dudettes. A female.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Sorry, man.
Those berserkers.
I didn't get that.
They're ladies.
Yeah, no. You just threw me off with your foreign accent.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm from the Midwest. It's very thick.
It's very thick.
So I guess with that said, we can maybe move on to shards.
Yes.
As well.
So.
Oh no, not
shards. Shards. Dude, we're like best friends.
That was perfect. Oh my goodness! I think we might just have to start a doo-wop group. I think that's
what's
happening.
That was not intended. It was
that
just
was
like
not.
we're just so tight, man. It just naturally happens.
That was amazing.
What can I say?
All right, so magically our Squire has gotten a lot beefier.
Oh wow, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no, he worked out for those 8 seconds and slayed a lot of monsters. Is how we're definitely going to explain that.
I can very much tell.
So one thing we've kind of talked about, and I've addressed this a little bit on the forums, is a pretty big change to shards.
Yes.
So one thing that a lot of players have been asking for a long time is, being able to lock in their shards to a slot so that when they get upgrades as they're progressing, they don't have to keep managing it. And that was before Onslaught. So there, with the introduction of Onslaught and Ancient Power specifically, I've even talked to a lot of our players who are climbing through it, and they've expressed this pain point quite a bit where, it feels good to climb through, but having to stop, equip all your gear, like find upgrades, and then also equip shards to those upgrades as you're swapping them in and out, feels even worse than before.
It shows you, it takes you from an experience where it's like more difficult to play with more characters, and that is precisely the opposite of what we're trying to have you do, right? We want you to play with all of the characters that you want. So if you have to take some time to like unequip your stuff, unequip the shards, put this new stuff in, and put the new stuff, the new shards in too. So yeah, it's just like it's too much time, I would say.
So with this new system, what we've done is we've moved, and again we've talked about this a little bit before, is we moved the shards from the equipment themselves to the slots, so that when you equip a piece of gear, the shard will stay on that specific slot. You can only still put gear on those slots as you would before. So boot slots or boot shards still go in boot slots. But how does it work if do you have access to all 3 shard slots all the time?
So yeah, so functionality, I guess, remains fairly similar. It's just a few ways that we're improving the way that we're externalizing the shards. So I completely blew off your question. What was it?
Do you still have access? Like, so you can put 3 shards in a piece of gear.
Correct. Yeah. So here's the thing. The tier of an item still enables you to use the shards. So a purple or an orange will still enable you to use the 3 shards. The only difference now is that you don't put the shards into those pieces of item. They enable the slots. I was 1 millisecond away from saying it. I was 1 millisecond away from saying it. I saw myself on time. So it enables you to equip the item into the slot, and then you activate the slots. If you have nothing in your character, nothing at all, you can still put the shards in there. So you can put the shards in empty slots, and you can put the shards associated with a slot that's empty. So you have nothing in your head, right? If you have nothing in your head, you can put shards down there. The only thing that means is that shard's going to be inactive for all intents and purposes. So if you want to activate the shard, if you want to get the benefits from it, you would just have to put something down in that slot, and then it'll be active. That means that you can just deck out your whole character with the 3 slots in all of the items, in your weapon, in your armor, in your relics, in whatever. And then as you equip new relics, as you equip new armor, the shards will just stay there without having you to like finagle with them in any way. They'll just be there for you. So, and this also alleviates the concern if like, hey, I have like a green and I'm getting a purple, then it will replace that one, so you'll have like 2 additional slots that will be activated. But if you unequip the purple and you equip a stronger green, you may only get the activation of one of those, but then you'll still be confident that whenever you equip the next one that allows you to have the 3 activated, they'll be already waiting for you to use.
So it'll still work where a green item gives 1.
Yes, a green, none of that has changed. So a green item will still activate 1 slot, a blue will activate 2, and then the purple and the oranges. I just know them by colors, man.
That's okay.
I just know them by colors. So the purple and the orange will still activate 3, but you may still have things equipped in them. They'll just not be. They'll just not do anything.
Right. You'll have access to them, but they're just not going to be active. So you can choose to either unequip it or get a different piece of gear.
So you go through Onslaught. You're getting new stuff, and then you already have all of your guy decked out, or girl, or your guy or girl decked out. With charts, do that. Yes, correct. Do that. So then you auto-equip to get the new items that you got, and then when you do that, you also get the certainty that whatever shards you are using are still the same.
And so what'll happen is when this update goes out, all your characters that currently have their gear equipped with the shards in them.
They will be deleted.
Yep, that is actually the intended plan right
Yes, delete all
there.
characters.
We had an option between make this work really well or just get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
And we figured the latter would be no frustration whatsoever.
100% no.
No, that's not at all what we're doing. We're doing the opposite.
What?
Yep, sorry. You had to find out this way. No. It's going to go from how it's already equipped. It'll go right into the slots automatically, so you won't have to do any kind of migration. You won't have to go and do additional maintenance within your inventory. So you'll be able to just hop in. Whatever character you had before the update will still be playable, have things a lot more accessible.
Your guys will be good to go. Your guys and girls. So all of your heroes in your deck, all of your heroes in your cards, they'll be whatever shards they had in them, they'll be just associated with those slots now, so you don't have to do anything with those guys.
So with this, and I haven't seen a question about it yet, but how does this work with incursion weapons?
Yeah, so incursions weapons, they're gonna be buffed for the most part. So we're treating the because previously there were locked shards for the incursion weapons, so they would just have those shards engraved in them, so people couldn't remove them or you couldn't interact with them beyond upgrading them. So what's going to happen with incursions weapons is that those effects are now going to be treated as passive abilities for those weapons. So they're just going to have them flat out. And if you're thinking, hey, does that mean I got to put one extra shard in that one? Then the answer would be yes, you can. You can, person who asked the question. You can very much so put an extra shard on the incursion weapons. However, of course, we're gonna have to like tweak the numbers on the passive ability. So whenever you go back after the update, if you're using the incursion weapons, there may be differences between what you're seeing now, but with the actual numbers of the abilities when you see them later.
Yeah, but it'll still feel good.
It'll be the same incursion weapon with all the dope abilities that you're familiar with. They're going to be really, really strong. And then you'll get an extra shard with them, so there's going to be, of course, sought after, even more so.
Oh, yeah. So we recently had a sale with those.
Did we? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So if you guys...
What a coincidence.
If you guys had a chance to pick those up, then you that's good. That's
yeah,
good preparation.
I would say it's
foresight.
Oh wow, it's almost like we thought about it.
Yeah, man. Whew. Oh well. But anyways, so there are some concerns that are going to happen with, and someone already brought it up, are shards that are already in your gear, in your inventory. Say you have 2 bags like Eric's fresh account here, and he's already loaded up on gear, and he's got some gear that he swaps out that has shards in it. And he's just filled to the brim. Can't fit any shards in his bag. So kind of the concern is what's going to happen to those shards.
It's an excellent question. What is going to happen? So, for real, what's going to happen with those is that some players, we're not pointing fingers. Some players are stockpiling shards in their
well, yeah. So what's going to happen with it is basically if you do have, say you've got a handful of items still, and if those shards, with this, they're going to get unequipped from your gear. Yeah. So what's going to happen is we're going to take all those and we're going to put them into a pack that will then be sent to the scavenger because you obviously won't have inventory space.
So the important part there is that they're going to be put in your inventory, and the excess amount will go to the scavenger.
Yeah, and we're going to have them in, so to make it not such a nightmare to just clutter up the scavenger as much, he's going to receive these packs that we've been calling, we'll have maybe a different name for them, we've been calling kind of a cold storage, which what's going to happen is each pack will have up to 16 slots within it. It's a one-time use. They will never expire, so the scavenger can hold on to it because we might have some changes coming down the road to accommodate these kind of things. We're not going to talk about those right now, but this is a short-term solution. I've kind of addressed this a little bit on the forums.
We're definitely thinking about it, and it puts it on our short list, I guess.
Yeah, we got a long list.
We got a long list, but
it's up there on priorities.
100%.
There we go. And so what will happen is there will be these packs again with up to 16 shards in them. So if you have, say you have 18 shards, one pack will be full to 16, and another pack will have 2 in them. So what happens is they don't expire, so you don't have to worry about getting there and managing them right away within so long after the update. You can then pull the packs if you have any kind of inventory space and you want to pull the pack out for whatever reason. You can pull the pack out directly and hold on to it. And then after that, after you've freed up some space, as long as you have the amount, so say a pack has 3 shards in it, as long as you have 3 open inventory slots, you can then open that pack and it will put those shards in.
One thing I was going to say, it's very important that we also are, whatever gets sent to these compressed storage spaces, we're prioritizing them via their upgrade level, so your highest upgraded shards will be packed together, so that way you don't have to just open that one, and that one, because you found there's like 3 shards in one of each that you need to get. It'll just, all of the ones that you have upgraded will be all in the same one.
Yeah, so basically the things you would normally use are going to be put together so you have easier access to it. You will be able to see every shard that's in there, I believe. This is on the, I think when you hover over it, it should show what shards are in there. So yeah, you'll get all the shards that you would normally use, or to the best of our ability, get them all sorted together, and then hover over it to see, I want to pull out, maybe a movement speed increase, a power transfer, and a deadly strikes. You'll see those within one. You can open it and you'll pull those out. So yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it for shards.
That should be it, yes.
So if you guys go ahead and start shooting some questions at us, I've got some questions, but you guys throw some out there. Always welcome to answer those. So we're going to go ahead and transition to our community Q&A.
Q&A.
That worked. There we go.
I think I'm in.
We got everybody. Look at this. So you got all 3 of us. I've been kind of teasing this. I think I teased it on the last one that we'd have all 3 in. So here we are. So I'm still seeing some questions coming up, but this one is good for when we were talking about NUE. What happens? This is from Sidewalk Hero.
Okay.
You might have heard of him. What happens whenever you're at your mana cap and Mana Node gives you gems?
I'm gonna let him take it away.
No. I just thought it was a good question. You take care of it. They asked you.
Okay.
I just thought it was a good question. It's a good question. It's a good question. Just go for it.
All right.
Go for it.
So what we have, we're calling kind of like a rolling mana bar. So if the amount of green mana that you received hits the cap, what'll happen is the bar will stay filled up, and it'll start filling up again. And what you'll get is a little icon over the green mana bar that says, hey, you have 1 full mana bar, and you have this one. And you can continue to use the green mana that's in your mana bar, and as it depletes, it'll roll back down to the one that you have prior. So you don't have to worry about like a bunch of green mana cluttering up the ground anymore. You're going to kind of just suck it all up.
So you can carry infinite mana.
All right. And someone asked, are weapons better? Which we kind of answered a little bit earlier. That the incursion weapons are, again, just to recap, are going to be stronger just because they'll have the 3 slots and also they're passive to them. So a good question there.
Get him.
New World Order.
What?
Whoa. With incursion weapons?
What?
Is that how it comes? All right. That's apparently...
Jesus.
Society's over. Incursion weapons are the new thing. Someone asked, what about orbs? So we removed orbs a while back, specifically because they eventually hit a cap where from ascension levels as well as just with relics in general, their stats would reach a speed cap and be null. It was a hard cap to them. So just to answer that, yeah, orbs don't drop anymore. So they are not going to be affected when it comes to prioritization with auto-equip on relics.
Some may say they're a relic of the past.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I can't. I'm sorry.
It's probably one of the best puns you've ever made.
Oh, it's up there, dude. It's up there.
That was fantastic. I'm so proud of
and
you.
it was super wholesome. It was super wholesome.
You're being very humble about its wholesomeness.
Dude, I mean, that's just up to usual, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Oh man! All right. Juice Bags asked, and we kind of answered this a little bit. Containers on scavengers, you will be able to see what's in them, so you just hover over, and you can see what's inside of it. Do we? I don't think we have them grouped together. It just shows the name of the shard, correct? That's in there.
The what?
Like in the cold storage.
Yeah, it shows the name and the upgrade level.
Okay, so you'll be able to see both, and then discern which ones you want to pull out. That pun. That's I'm not gonna be able to forget about that for a while. I'll be walking around there just saying "relic of the past," and then just smile a little bit and look off into the distance.
Dude, I'll keep that one.
That one's good. They're laughing too much to ask questions. At
I
this
guess
point.
they are.
Oh
it's
man,
inevitable if I'm here. I guess.
You might have to get your 5 minutes on here, just your little stand-up bits.
Dude, I'm about it.
So with we've had some questions just because we've been talking about a lot of inventory stuff. Stuff with sorting shards or being able to search for shards. There are things we're adding eventually. We can't really get super into that. It is something we understand, like inventory management. Just being able to take less maintenance out of the game so you can get into it and just start playing is a real big focus with a lot of these changes we're doing. These are kind of the baseline that need to be set first, and then those will be able to be added in. Otherwise, we'd be waiting months and months and months to put all this stuff out together in one sweeping change. So I just want to assure you guys that when we're making these changes, these are not the end-all be-all of everything we're going to be adding in regards to shards, to inventory, to gear management, all that stuff. There's tons of stuff on the way. And even some stuff that, will you change the 3 map time, killing map? So, again, we've heard a lot of these pain points. There's certain stuff we can talk about, certain stuff we can't.
We're thinking about it. It's no spoilers.
Yeah.
We're super thinking about it.
Yeah.
Read everything that you guys post.
It is. Yeah. I mean, Mark and I are. We're actively reading the forums.
Yes.
So I don't think there's anything that you guys post in the forums that either. We do read them. We read the forums. We read the subreddit. So all of your guys' concern about the length of Onslaught, the 3 map stuff. All that's being actively thought about, and trust that we are actually thinking about it and coming up with the best solutions for you, or that we can do, I guess. But
we're making sure there's a lot of really good suggestions on there. So always keep pumping that feedback in. Just with certain things, we might not implement the way that maybe a specific user wants. A lot of it comes down to there's just multiple game systems. There's a lot of ways that we have to make sure it's something that's enjoyable, works well, but also doesn't break the whole game.
yeah,
So
it's very important.
it was a big issue when we had Nightmare 4. People just being able to go right to Nightmare 4, get the best gear in the game, and be done in a couple hours from installing, which isn't a really good intended experience. So we're not doing that. Another one that's here is I'm going to shorthand it a little bit. So with Trials, obviously, it looks at your champion score. What about Onslaught? Does Onslaught is it specifically limited by floor, or does it look at your hero score as well?
Onslaught, no. Yeah. Onslaught, you just play through it normally. If you're just OP god of DD2, and then you're just like steamrolling everything,
mm-hmm.
you just like if you can beat the floor, you're certainly entitled to go to the next one. So just be assured that's going to be kept the same. So even better now, because you're going to be playing through Onslaught, you're going to be getting up to some dope gear, right? Highest gear score, and that will now unlock the stuff in Trials. So you'll just naturally
mm-hmm.
the point is that if you're playing through Onslaught, something's happening that will unlocking stuff in Trials, and I guess the other way around. So just play Onslaught, play Trials, mix and match, do whatever, play some Mastery, get some Hyper Shards, do some incursions so you can get the dope weapons that you're gonna need for the other game modes. So it's all about how all of the things that we're throwing out for you are a part of your DD2 experience. You gotta try everything there is for you to get the whole picture.
Let's see here. So there were some questions about with progression within Trials themselves. It's a good question. It's something that we've looked at. It feels good right now. It should feel comparable to what you're currently experiencing. With that said, if you do run into any specific issues with progressing, we'll be able. We have a lot of things running in the background where we can check those things, see where people are kind of getting hung up, even down to waves, amount of time taken. It should feel comparable. If it doesn't, again, we can always make changes further down the road. The whole point of this wasn't to stall players or kind of hold them back in any fashion. In fact, it should overall. We've got a person who's grinding away, and I believe Blade is watching right now. He's at Ancient Power 33 right now. For players that are doing that kind of crazy grind, they should be getting through it a lot faster, just because they're going to have a lot less gear management stuff as well as inventory management. So there's a lot of time being cut out there. But again, with concerns like that, I mean, we received feedback when we initially did the shard change to gear, when we made it so that it's on the slots. It was fantastic feedback that we then reactively did this system where your shards, if you don't have the inventory space for it, that was based on some testing feedback. So we'll, as we currently know, it should feel the same. But as soon as players say, "Hey, this doesn't feel good," we'll investigate it, take a look even further, and make changes through there. And there were a couple other really good ones on here. Been trying to keep up, but chat just keeps going too fast. So when will it be released? I don't think we're announcing that this week.
Sooner than you expect. No?
No, because they expect it next week.
Oh yeah, don't expect it next week. Yeah, don't. Later. Yeah.
Jose, you're a gem.
At some point in time.
You are a gem.
In the future.
In the future.
There we go.
Later than today.
That's the perfect amount of ambiguity that I like. Instead of sooner than you can expect.
I'm sorry.
There's no limit to what they expect.
I'm sorry, dude. I just want to get them hype.
In fact, we had earlier on our countdown, just to give a little explanation as to why it's not coming next week. We did have a thing on our countdown that was question mark, and that is because we're having a second Devstream next week. We've kind of heard a lot of the feedback about getting information out, trying to get players engaged with what's coming to help them a little bit, of anticipation, maybe wanting to take time off and schedule just to play when the update comes out. So right now, this is kind of the first step of doing that. We have a couple things planned to stretch out information a little bit more in advance. So next week we will be having another dev stream as well. And I'm trying to see here, where do the best shards drop? Depends on what the best shard is to you. No,
Colin did just drop the week.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that. Where was that at? This is really hard to
see.
It's hard to go through. I'm reading chat. You're just making puns.
No.
I didn't see it. Eric, would you like to?
The week of March 5th.
Oh, the week of. Oh, I see it now. The
That's
week of
sooner
March 5th.
than you expected.
No, if they expect it next week, and it's not.
I mean, most people didn't expect it to be next week.
Yes, they did. We usually do dev streams, and then the updates the next week.
Oh well, that's very, very, very
You don't have
thoughtful of us.
Light Rain has, it will be a whirlwind of information. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to talk about that right now. So we need to, well, first, I think we need to come up with a hashtag for players to enter.
I'm pretty sure if we don't use Relic.
Yeah, Relic of the Past.
Okay, so go ahead and put in I'll type it in how it's not case sensitive. So, and we'll announce these after the stream. I gotta spell it right first.
Yeah,
I got pressure from Jose.
Essentially,
Type
Relic of the Past.
Oh, that's so
that's
long.
Too long.
That's
too
too
long, dude.
All right, so hashtag Relic of the Past. God, I can't
Sooner
believe
than you expect.
Sooner than you expect would have been a good one. That's so long.
Relic of the Past.
Yeah, is Relic the Past?
Sorry, Relic of the Past. I had Jose looking here, and he.
I was oversight that you did it right.
It's
and you
Relic
did it
of the
wrong.
Past. Hold on. I've got Jose just breathing down my neck with all his puns.
I don't do
There
puns
we go.
normally.
There it is.
I'm not, that was just like a single pun of my life because I generally don't
Single
do.
pun of your life.
Never do another one.
I've
One
never.
on top.
One hit wonder.
All right, so
You guys
One
know
hit
me.
wonder.
I don't do puns normally. That was just like a one in a lifetime kind of thing. 100%.
Well done.
I mean,
you
I
did,
made
you did,
it.
you
I
did
made
a great.
it. It's
That
like-
was a good pun.
It's the end of
That
the
was a
puns
great
for
pun.
me.
I enjoyed it.
I'm not a. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Eric, I think that's about the end of the stream. I think
Yeah,
that's,
something like that.
I think that's it. So we're just gonna go ahead and transition out of here. So we'll just wave bye real quick because this is happening. Bye everybody.
Hello. Well,
All right, and with that, just
Oh yeah, we'll just go ahead.
cut.
All right, so you guys might have seen what we just showed there. That might be what we're talking about next week. That might be what we're having two. We might be having two dev streams. Did they hear that? Sorry, as we said goodbye, Jose said hello. But anyways, so that's the Barbarian. Barbarian is announced now, confirmed. It's not Jester, it's not Man of Machine, it's not Ranger or anything else. It is Barbarian. We will have more information next week about it. The stream next week, we'll do some recap of what we covered today. We might have to bring you back for some more puns. Oh
Next
my
week will be
goodness.
sooner than you expect. Wait.
Dude, I'm crying.
So one thing that we're going to be doing for the Barbarian, we're going to have an event going on for the week. It's going to be on the forums and through Twitter specifically. We're going to kind of do like it's going to be a contest both for screenshots and for fan art. So we'll have a couple things posted on the forums as well. We're going to go through and have multiple winners with different categories like funny, or you look epic, or legendary, or scary. So the prizes for this contest will be Barbarian hero codes. So it's going to be a pretty good contest to enter. Feel free to just enter whatever you think, whatever your skill level. We'll take a look at everything you guys have. Again, that'll be on the forums. I'll post it on Twitter. I'll post it on Facebook, as well as Discord and Xbox Hub, and pretty much everywhere else I can post it to. You guys are making it so much harder.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Give myself a timeout.
So yeah, so we'll have that up and running soon. Apparently putting my face on the Barbarian is what the winning piece is going to be. That's not bad. That's
We need to
pretty
make
good.
a costume for the Barbarian inspired by the new Apprentice costume. That was it. Oh, was that a Squire costume? Never mind. Just keep going.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
It was the community thing. The Microsoft Paint drawing.
Sorry. Okay.
Never mind. That was good.
Based on something completely different.
I'll let Jose do the jokes.
That's fine. So yeah, so we've got that contest going on. Again, there will be a forum post going up shortly, kind of outlining what we're looking for and where to post it. It will be on that thread, so it won't be super confusing. But yeah, so look forward to our Barbarian stream and a little bit of covering what we did today as well. Next week, where we'll be showing him off, maybe some of his accessories and or skin, maybe, and his abilities as well. So yeah, so now we're actually going to end the stream. Now is our goodbye. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
You said it. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. So we will see you guys next week. Okay, now you can say bye, Jose.